Hey guys, just a quick little video here to go over these triad problems now that you hopefully have done them. And if I guess you probably didn't do B here. I'm sorry, I forgot I covered that one up. Um, I did post a picture showing that one, so maybe you saw that. But anyhow, um, let's go ahead and try to think about this. Remember, this is in a 30, 60, 90 triangle, okay? The relationship between the three sides is opposite of the 30-degree angle is S, okay? That's the shortest side. Opposite the 60-degree angle is the middle side, middle length side, and that is S times the square root of 3, okay? And opposite the right angle is the hypotenuse, and that is 2S, okay? And if you're not given the shortest side, you always want to find it first by division, all right? So what we're going to do is find BS, or BC, okay? BC is the shortest side here. And to find BC, we're going to take the side they give us, AC, 28, and we're going to divide it by the square root of 3, okay? Because AC is 28. Okay, and so if you want to go to the shorter one, you're dividing by the square root of 3. All right. Now, you could do this in your calculator, and that's what I had yesterday you guys do. Put this in your calculator and approximate what this is. 28 divided by the square root of 3 is about 16.2 approximately, okay? Now, the book, however, doesn't, unless it's a word problem dealing with a real life situation, is going to actually prefer if you guys come up with exact answers. All right, and you might think that this is, as far as you go, but there is a little old kind of antiquated thing that a lot of math books do, and that is you're not allowed to have a square root in the denominator. So what they do is to get rid of the square root in the denominator, they actually multiply the top and bottom by the square root that's in the denominator, which is equivalent to 1, okay? So you're multiplying by the same thing over the same thing, which is equivalent to 1. And the point is to get rid of the square root in the bottom, okay? So when you multiply the square root of 3 by the square root of 3, that's equal to the square root of 9, okay? And the square root of 9 is just equal to the number 3. And so really when you multiply a radical in the denominator by the same radical, it cancels out the radical sign. Okay, so the square root goes bye-bye then. Okay, and so the way that the book has this answer is 28 times the square root of 3. Okay, and what we just did there is called rationalizing the denominator. Okay, let me type it out here in case. So yeah, it's called rationalizing the denominator, which means you're making the denominator into a non-square root, okay? Making it into a rational number, because square roots, when they're not perfect square, are called irrational numbers, all right? And then, so that's how you would get the middle, or the shortest side. Now to get the longest side, which is AB, all right, you take your answer and you simply double it. Okay, so you double 28 times the square root of 3 over 3. All right, so if you double this, okay, you simply multiply, when you multiply a fraction times a whole number, you just multiply the numerators together, okay? So that would become 56 times the square root of 3, all over 3. Okay, and if you did go ahead and you found the decimal approximation yesterday, it would be 32.3. Okay? So hopefully you can see both ways represent your answer there. All right, on problem B here, okay, remember the relationship when it's a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle is the hypotenuse is equal to the shorter side. So imagine if this is the shorter side and this is the other shorter side. They're both the same, by the way. The hypotenuse is equal to S times the square root of 2. All right. And so if we're going to find the shorter side, what we need to do is divide, just like we did in this last one when we're finding the shorter side, we're going to divide by the square root of 2, okay? So let's go ahead and figure out BC and AC, because they're both the same. BC is equal to AC, and it's equal to 14 divided by the square root of 2. All right, and then once again, you guys probably did the decimal approximation. However, the book wants you to rationalize the denominator, which means get rid of the square root in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the same square roots that's in the denominator, okay? So my answer is 14 times the square root of 2. Square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is just 2. All right, and then actually, once you get to that point, notice the 14 and the 2, you could divide those, and so your real answer would be 7 times the square root of 2. And that is a precise answer, unlike if you put it in the calculator straight, that would be a decimal approximation. All right, so hope you guys have some success on the practice problems. Remember to look back at the notes here. Some of them are Pythagorean theorems. Some of them are these special 30, 60, 90, 45, 45, 90 triangles. Okay, hope you have a nice weekend. God bless you guys. Remember, please stay in touch. Send me some questions if you are struggling with stuff. And take care now. Bye.